Hello everyone and welcome to Hilltop Gardens. Today we're going to explore the garden and see what has happened in the past 5 days. We have been gone away on a little family trip, and so the garden has not been tended to really for like 5 days. My mother-in-law has came over and picked our green beans and our tomatoes just to make sure they didn't spoil, but the rest is a jungle. So come along and let's get picking. You know, when you start to plant your garden, you're like, please, Lord, let this garden just grow in abundance and make sure my plants get enough water, sunshine, all the minerals that they need. Well, I've done that this year, and these green beans have taken off. The green beans and cucumbers have been my most producing crop thus far. And then I think next is going to be my squash, my spaghetti squash. They are so full. There's no way that I'm going to be able to store them all. So we will have to sell some of them. But I definitely over-prayed this year. I'll have to learn. Lesson learned, right? Lesson learned. Just pray a little bit, not a whole lot. And then the Lord will bless you with just enough and not so much so that you're tired of it. Even though the green beans have been picked every single day, there's still so much. I haven't even made it down this whole row yet, and my bucket's almost full. So I have about 5 buckets in the refrigerator currently ready to be canned. And so I'm skimming over these today, just picking what I can see. And then tomorrow I will come through and do a thorough examination of all the green beans, get them off. And then I think it's about time to tear down the green beans. We've got one whole long row and then a couple small rows, but I have canned so many green beans already. I think they've had enough. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the little test that I've done this year for my green beans. I had some leftover seed from last year, so I planted a small row of that to see if it would actually come up again. And then our big row of green beans that we planted, I actually bought the seeds from a local place, our feed store right down the road. And the reason why I bought those is because I thought I did not buy any from my online store that I absolutely love. But it turns out I did. So then I had to plant a third row of green beans. And so this is going to be my review of how I liked each green bean and how it performed this year. So for this small row right here, this is the seeds that I saved from last year. These were labeled Kentucky Wonder. They done so-so. I definitely would not save green beans like this again because they did not produce as well as I thought they would. The second row right here is the one I bought from our local seed store. It has done very well. The only complaint that I have is both this first row and the second row have been eaten alive by Japanese beetles. But then you see my third row right here. These are the ones that I bought from Haas Tools online. Same brand, same variety I should say. It's called Kentucky Wonder. And they have been amazing. And by far, they have been the best producing beans out here. And as far as the Japanese beetles, I have sprayed all of them the same, but for some reason, these are less eaten out of almost everything out here. So next year, I will 100% only do Haas Tools green beans. So I will make sure to put the link below if you are interested in getting the Kentucky Wonder Haas Tools green beans. On to our tomatoes. These are ones that I bought from our local hardware store. And I tried to do the Florida weave on them as someone suggested online, and it done so-so. I don't really know if it's just the weight of these Roma tomatoes or if maybe I should have done a better job. Not sure, but I will say, since we have been gone, these tomatoes have produced so much. So it's definitely canning time for the tomatoes. Some of them didn't make it, but we still have a lot on here. So I have, I think, about 21 Roma tomatoes. And then of course, these are the tomatoes that I planted a couple weeks ago. They are the Kellogg's Breakfast tomatoes down this row. And then these are the Invincible Roma tomatoes. So, or not Roma, Invincible, I guess it is, it's tomato paste. And this is an update on my vertical squash. It looks like a jungle because I have not weed eated, I have not tilled the weeds. So it looks like a jungle. So it is kind of hard to tell where my plants are, but there they are. I haven't been here in about 5 days, and so a lot of them need to be clipped. I think some of them I am going to let go and just let them grow from now on because I still have yet to have any vegetables off of them. I've had lots of blooms, but the one that I did have a vegetable on had a squash on it. It did fall off and die, so I'm not really sure what happened. But I think this is an experiment I will call as a fail and not do it next year. I think I will stick to the method of growing them on the ground. It seemed like a great idea, but it's just not working for me. So next year they'll be on the ground. And this is my second go at growing some sweet corn. I think, again, this is a plant that I am not skilled enough yet to grow very well. They are just taking their sweet time growing. I'm really hoping they take off here in the next couple days and get tall, so then they will actually produce something. But this may be a second loss this year, and if it is, then back to the drawing board and we'll try next year. But here's something that's successful. All of these sunflowers. This probably has been my favorite thing to grow. Maybe because it didn't die, maybe because they took off so well, but maybe because they're just a beautiful plant to grow and definitely attracts all of your pollinators. You can see, well, right now there's Japanese beetles on them, but it has a lot of pollinators and it has helped my garden tremendously and I love them. So I'm really excited about sunflowers. I'll definitely grow those next year too. Something else that has taken off this week are the Birdhouse Gourds. This is the first time I'm growing these and they are just beautiful. These leaves are like so big. So big, they're so soft and velvety. So I cannot wait to see how these end up. Hopefully successful. I've heard they're kind of hard to grow sometimes. Need lots of nutrition and water, but they look fantastic and I cannot wait until this whole arch is just filled and they're hanging down beautifully. Just gonna speak that into them and help them grow, right? And then it may look like I'm growing another patch of grass here, but actually it's more sunflowers. More sunflowers for my pollinators. This is the different variety I had. Do not remember which one this is. This is another one that I just picked up from Walmart and just planted for the kids. I am doing an experiment. This row right here, I am not plucking any of the leaves off, but then the rest of them I'm plucking. So I want to see, it's the same variety. I want to see how well it does versus not plucking and plucking. We'll see, so stay tuned for that. And last but not least is my patch of popcorn corn. This is the first year I'm trying to grow this. I got the seeds off Amazon. It's supposed to be like a blackish blue kernel color. It actually, the kernels look like what this looks like. So it's kind of weird that a couple of them have turned this color, but then the rest of them have not. I didn't think they were gonna make it at first because some of them are very, very short. So, like I said, this is the first year I'm growing it. Not really experienced in it. So we'll just see what happens. I hope at least I get like 1 or 2 out of it because it seems really neat. But if we get nothing out of it, I definitely will try this next year. I may just try sourcing the seeds from a better place. So all in all, being gone a week from the garden has not turned out so bad at all. There are about 5 or 6 containers of green beans in my fridge just sitting right there waiting for me to can them. And the tomatoes are just overflowing in the baskets, so that will be something else I will can this week. But overall, it's not bad. I'm excited that my garden hasn't completely ruined itself with no attention for 5 days. So this week we will take down some of our green beans and get the ground ready for another crop or a cover crop depending on what we plant there this fall. So make sure to stay tuned to see what we have planned for some of the plots, like our old potato plot. We're gonna have to get it ready for fall coming up. So make sure to tune in, hit that subscribe button, the like button, and the bell to make sure that you are notified when we upload new videos. Until next time, we'll see you on Hilltop Garden.